Good morning, welcome back to another episode of HardFoul Radio. This is the show that values time and puts God first. Let's get into it. So, Roger Goodell last week said the NFL is not competing with the NBA and Major League Baseball. It is competing with Apple and Google. And while at first glance I heard this and I was like, I thought it was a fake quote. Because I just didn't think it was something that you would say. Not that they're necessarily business partners, but there's always been a level of mutual respect between all the commissioners and all the pro major sports. So I thought it was a fake storyline when I first heard it, or a fake headline when I first heard it. And then I went and looked at it, and then I thought about it some more, and I was like, it might be a wild thing to say, but he's absolutely right. The NFL is not competing with Major League Baseball or the NBA. It has lapped them incredibly so. And some of this, I think there's a few reasons. The first one probably sounds a little too simplistic. They both sound a little too simplistic. But the first one is management matters. Whoever is in charge, their decision making, it matters. Roger Goodell is in charge, essentially, of the NFL. Yes, there's 32 owners, and they have input, and he works for them. But all these sports have crazy owners, some who are really, really involved in what's going on, and some who basically just write checks, and both have their pros and cons. But Goodell, where I feel like the NFL really started to pull away, and again, excuse this for sounding a little too simple, but he didn't pull away while David Stern was here. It was as we transitioned, and baseball got Rob Manfred, and the NBA got Adam Silver, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to either of those gentlemen, because that's a really tough job to be commissioner of a pro sports league. But Roger definitely looked at them and said, what's Shaq say all the time when he sees centers and he's like, oh, that's barbecue chicken, doesn't care who he's going up against? That's kind of what Roger Goodell did to the other leagues. I mean, you take stuff from like playing on Christmas Day to, which was an NBA thing forever, and he's like, you know what, I don't care, bigger, better, stronger than you, I am moving in on your day. Moving into your house, your time, your history, boom, we're there. He also deserves credit for that fact that the NFL is willing to move really, really fast. Major League Baseball has historically been slammed for they are the slowest mover. They're the slowest to adapt, to change their rules, because it's all about the history of the game, and it's all about how we've done it forever. They don't really like change in professional baseball. The NBA, while they're willing to move faster than baseball, they're struggling with the way that they're moving. Take the All-Star Game as an easy example. The All-Star Game has been bad for almost a decade now. And outside of celebratory moments like a Kobe's last All-Star Game, or it wasn't good, but like AD in New Orleans, as you get the top guy from that city trying to get them a bunch of points, and those have their cool moments. The All-Star Game is lacking. And Adam Silver either can't or doesn't have the confidence to come out and say, hey, we are now going to do this big drastic change. There's been all these flip-flops of, well, it's West versus East, and then it's, oh, well, it's team captains, and, oh, well, now it's world versus the U.S. Like, it's all these little ideas, little tweaking, but none of them are really hitting. And the All-Star Game was, at one point, like that was a staple in the story of the NBA. We had all these iconic all-star moments. The skills challenge, the dunk contest, they've all fallen by the way. The NFL, the Pro Bowl, wasn't very good. Took Goodell a few years, said, hey, we're going to throw some flag football on this shit. And we're going to, it's not perfect, but we're going to move quickly. We're going to make it exciting. We're going to make it something that's better for TV. So, again, sounds a little too simplistic, but I do think Goodell being better and being willing to adapt faster than the other commissioners absolutely plays a huge part. The second is, and this is the one that's been talked about a bunch, but it is to a degree just scarcity. I'm somebody who, I am a true sports crackhead. I could watch a full 162 MLB game season from multiple teams and have a blast. I could watch a full 82 game basketball season from multiple teams and have a blast. The reality is that's just too much. And the average consumer, which makes up a huge part of what makes these leagues as big as they are, there's not enough of me to go around. They need the average football fan, the average baseball fan, the average basketball fan. And they don't want to watch they're not going to watch all 82 games of regular season. They got a wife, they got kids, they got things they got to do. There's normal stresses of life. They're not going to watch 162 baseball games. But we will watch the event that is a once-a-week football game. It's even if you're a guy, it's even easy to explain to your wife. Hey, I got the game on this week. Oh, when? How many? Just one. It's 1 p.m. Okay, she'll work with you on that. So it's this, and sometimes it's Thursdays, which she even likes the Thursdays because, oh, okay, well, he can do it on Thursday, which means actually we can do something this weekend. So the celebration of these once-a-week games, like, that helps the NFL. So scarcity and the ability to adapt, yeah, it sounds a little too simplistic, but you can't deny the numbers. You can't deny that, yes, the NFL, people move out of the way for the NFL. They don't do it for other sports, even in their biggest moments. And some of that is scarcity. Some of that is how the game's been represented and presented to us. The Super Bowl, everybody gets out the way. People spend billions of dollars to get ad space, and everybody else gets out the way. You don't even hear about other channels. They don't even do stuff the weekend of the Super Bowl. They just say, hey, we're running reruns of such and such show. Oh, yeah, we have, it's some reruns, more of this. Like, no one's trying to get in the Super Bowl's way. They don't feel that way about the World Series. They don't feel that way about the NBA Finals. And, yeah, some of that is 7 games versus 1. It's this 1 3-4 hour event. We have the biggest halftime shows. But the scarcity and Goodell's lack of respect's not the right word, but it's close enough, and his willing to press his power against the other commissioners and the other leagues, the NFL has absolutely lapped everybody, and they are, to a degree, fighting with Apple and Google, and the NFL might be the biggest business, especially considering it's only active for a handful of months out of the year. The biggest takeaway, staying on the NFL, from preseason week 1 is Shedeur Sanders was the biggest draw, the most watched game, the most talked about game. He started for the Cleveland Browns. And I don't really care to argue with people how we got here. You can say, oh, it's his injuries. You can say it's just his dad. I don't really care. You could be a supporter of Shedeur Sanders. You could be a critic of Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur showed, and this is something that you can't really tell or you can't really teach. People just have it or they don't. And that is, you just see who can do it when it comes to professional sports, especially at quarterback in the NFL. How many quarterbacks do you see from day one, they got happy feet? They're never comfortable in the pocket. They never have the true poise that you need to have to play that position. They just got happy feet. And they're moving around and they're nervous and it's not all clicking and it just does not work. Shedeur looked calm. He was able to move out a couple times. He was able to do rollouts. He looked good on the move. He was able to be accurate. Yes, it's obviously it is preseason. But y'all would be killing him if he played poorly in the preseason. So we're going to give him some flowers. And the other part of this, why what it matters more with the big picture than even just Shedeur's exact storyline, is we need more good quarterback play. Here's the reality of the NFL. And despite its clear status as king, it's not the best product of the 4 major sports. It just isn't. We have more good quarterbacks than we've ever had in the history of the National Football League. We also have more bad quarterback play on a weekly basis than we've ever had in the National Football League. I'm somebody, you've heard me talk about this a bunch. I would love for all 6 quarterbacks to our draft last year to all work. Have your opinions on how great or how many Super Bowls they can win or this, that, or the third. But if Caleb, Drake, Jaden, Bo, McCarthy, Penix, if all 6 hit, that's 6 franchises, 6 additional teams that can have good quarterback play and then become a watchable game. Nothing is worse. Streaming has kind of changed this, but nothing's worse when you got to sit there and it's like the 1 o'clock window and the NFL intentionally throws the bad teams on there, the bad games on there, and it's like, oh, we got to wait 3 hours for like good football or you have one good team going against a bad team and it's just a blowout. The game's not entertaining. It's not exciting. It's not fun. We only get 17 weeks of this in the regular season. We need all of these games, as many of them as possible, to be good quality football games. So, yes, a team like Tennessee that I don't think can make the playoffs, and they're still a year away, even though I like some moves they made. Cam Ward, I'm rooting for him. Shedeur Sanders with the Browns. When was the last time we were excited to watch the Cleveland Browns? I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for these teams. Again, all 6 quarterbacks in last year's class. I am rooting for good quarterback play. Geno in Vegas. The AFC West, it's all the talks about the head coaches. But if Geno and Bo can play like they played last year, that means you've got Mahomes, Herbert, Geno, Bo Nix, 4 quality quarterbacks in the division. You go over to the AFC East. Josh Allen's obviously the MVP. If Justin Fields, who I did think figured some things out last year in Pittsburgh, if he can be good, Drake May, if he can reach that potential, Tua, if he can, with him it's more of a health thing. If he can just stay healthy, that's 4 quality quarterbacks in the AFC East. You go division by division. We need more good quarterbacks. If Jackson Dart can hit with the Giants, and I have Jackson Dart, Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, that's 4 quality plus quarterbacks in the AFC. You want this. As big as the NFL is, it is not the best product in terms of a week-to-week play-by-play basis. So if you're someone who, for whatever reason, those weird brothers want to see somebody fail, you don't got to be Shedeur Sanders. But if you're just somebody that's like, we should be rooting for Shedeur as a community of football fans to get better quality football on the field. And even if the Cleveland Browns decide he's not our guy, fine. If a team like the Rams decide, hey, you know what, Stafford's 37, has a bad back, and is currently doing some kind of procedure that I just learned about today, yeah, let's trade a 3rd or 4th round pick for Shedeur so we can have a quality quarterback going forward, because we have to exist post-Matthew Stafford. It's just... Again, Shedeur showed that he could play. He showed that he was accurate. He showed that he had confidence. He showed that he had the awareness and he wasn't too nervous for the moment, preseason or not. And we should not just be rooting for Shedeur. We should be rooting for all the young quarterbacks, because the more good quarterback play we get, the better the product is. And for something like the NFL that has as many eyes on it as it does, maybe the most eyes for any individual business moving in today, we should want the best quality product that we can get. So we're rooting for Shedeur, rooting for the 6 guys last year, rooting for the rookies this year. Get us more good quarterback play. Please. If you want to be a part of one of the coolest, most unique communities, don't forget to like and subscribe.